Some deaths in history are so cruel, so unimaginable, that even hearing about them makes your skin crawl. This one might just be the worst. Picture this, your body wedged between two hollowed wooden shells, unable to move. Your skin coated with honey. Your mouth force-fed milk until you choke. And then, the waiting begins. Not hours. Not days. But weeks, as the insects of the earth eat you alive. This was called Scaphism, death by the boats. And while you may have never heard of it, it was very real. And terrifyingly effective. To understand why this execution existed, you need to picture ancient Persia. This was one of the most powerful empires on earth, stretching from Egypt to India. A place where kings ruled with absolute power, and betrayal wasn't just a crime, it was an insult to the throne itself. Most criminals might face whipping, stoning, or the sword. But for traitors, or anyone who dared defy the empire, something different was needed. A punishment not only to kill, but to terrify the living. That's where Scaphism comes in. Scaphism wasn't a single act of violence. It was a performance of suffering, carried out in stages. The condemned was first stripped naked. Then two hollowed-out planks or boats were brought forward. The victim was laid inside, sandwiched between them, with only the head, arms, and legs sticking out. At this moment they were trapped, unable to move a finger to protect themselves. Next came the honey. Servants smeared it across the exposed skin, face, chest, hands, and feet. Sweet, sticky, irresistible, not to the condemned, but to flies. Then the milk. Gallons of it, forced into the victim's mouth. Enough to cause violent diarrhea. It was deliberate. The waste would pool beneath them, mixing with honey, creating a living swamp of filth that would draw every insect in reach. The boats were left floating on a stagnant pond or tied down in a marsh. And then, nature was left to do its work. Day after day, under the hot Persian sun, insects swarmed. First came the flies, landing on open eyes and lips. Then came the ants, gnawing at soft flesh. Wasps and beetles dug deeper. Maggots hatched inside sores. And as the days passed, the victim became not just a man, but a hive, a host for creatures eating him alive from the inside out. We know of Scaphism not just from rumor, but from one shocking story recorded by the historian Plutarch. The victim was a man named Mithridates, accused of killing a Persian noble. According to Plutarch, Mithridates endured more than 2 full weeks inside the boats. Think about that. Not hours. Not even days. Weeks. Imagine the agony of being alive as your own flesh became food for insects. Imagine hearing the buzzing, feeling the crawling, knowing that every second your body was being consumed. His death wasn't quick, it wasn't merciful. It was drawn out for maximum suffering. And everyone knew it. That was the point, not just to kill Mithridates, but to make his agony a warning carved into the minds of anyone tempted to betray Persia. Scaphism was more than torture. It was psychological warfare. For the condemned, there was no escape, no hope. Every buzzing fly became a reminder of death creeping closer. The smell of rotting flesh hung heavy in the air. The mind broke long before the body did. And for those who watched, it was a living horror show. Soldiers, peasants, even nobles, anyone allowed to witness, would never forget it. The empire didn't just kill traitors. It made examples of them. Now here's the unsettling question. Did Scaphism really happen exactly as described? Some historians argue Plutarch may have exaggerated the details. Others believe the practice was real but rare, reserved for special cases. But here's what we do know. Many cultures across history used slow, painful executions as a form of spectacle. The Romans crucified. The Chinese had the death by 1,000 cuts. Medieval Europe burned people alive. And the Persians? They had the boats. Even if parts of the story were embellished, the fact remains, people in power have always sought not just to punish, but to terrify. Today, Scaphism stands as a haunting reminder of how cruel humans can be to each other. It's rarely taught in schools, barely mentioned in history books. But maybe that's why it matters, because it shows us the darkest edges of human imagination. We like to think we've moved past such brutality. But history whispers otherwise. And Scaphism? That whisper is still chilling. If you thought this was disturbing, you're right. And this is only one of the forgotten deaths hidden in history. In the next episodes, we'll uncover more stories so shocking, you'll wonder how humanity ever survived them. Subscribe, because the past has more nightmares waiting to be told.